you should not trust that email. First up, anything dealing with gift cards is a scam. You need to know this.
So, Travis, let's talk about some common types of scams. What are some of the scams that we're seeing right now that are commonplace especially for businesses?
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of people reach out on email, of course, and perform phishing attempts where they're trying to get you to click on a link that you shouldn't be clicking on, to get you to go to a website that wants to install malware on your computer. That's huge. That's been popular for a long time, and that shows no signs of slowing down whatsoever. Another big thing is that people will solicit your accounting team in your company and try to get them to wire money and make payments that they're trying to get. They usually try to pose as the president of your company or CEO of your company and say, hey, so and so, I need you to wire this money over here real quick for this reason or that. And unfortunately, those are really effective. There are a lot of people that get tricked by those and wire enormous sums of money to accounts that are stealing from them, that are nefarious. So that's a huge one. You've probably heard about all the scams where people are trying to get you to pay for things with gift cards. And they do that sometimes a couple different ways. They'll do that through a phone call where they say that they're with the IRS and that you owe taxes and you're going to go to prison. And so then they need you to pay off, the outstanding balance. I recently saw a scam. It actually went to a relative of mine who used to live here in town with us, but now is out of state, that said that they owed money on their utility bill from their residents here in state. And they needed them to make a payment for that past due utility bill. And when they got on the phone, they could tell that the people who were talking to them were not, from this country. They were from outside of the United States, and they started to pick up pretty quick on the fact that this was not legitimate. But there's really no. That list is huge, but those are just some of the most common ones: email, phone call, and then the other thing I'll add to it is there are a lot of malicious websites that pretend and tell you, hey, you've been infected with a virus, call this number right now so you can get it cleaned up. All those sites, whenever you see something like that says, hey, you've been infected with a virus, or there's something wrong with your PC, those are all scams. Never call those sites. You're just going to get taken advantage of.
That's a lot. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people just constantly try to take advantage of people. And what's crazy about this too is that a lot of these people are very smart. Instead of dedicating that ingenuity and that those smarts to something positive, they dedicate this to something that's negative. So it's not always these scams aren't always just somebody who's down and out and destitute and is just going to do whatever he can to get money. These can be people or organizations who are very intelligent and who have a whole system around trying to take advantage of people who are willing to help someone out or just are people who are caught off guard.
Well, the problem is that they're successful. It works. It really does work. You might wonder sometimes with the spam that you get in your inbox, who's clicking on these emails. Unfortunately, a lot of people are. And so it's really important that we talk about this, because not only are the criminals smart, okay, but a lot of the people who get taken advantage of are also smart. Unfortunately, these techniques are preying on our desire to be helpful and to want to do good to one another. And they take advantage of that. And that's how we wind up finding ourselves in this position where we're doing something that in hindsight, we look at and go, I can't believe I fell for that. But, so don't feel bad if somebody's watching this right now, you've already fallen for one of these scams, don't beat yourself up about that. A lot of people do have this happen to them. But what I would say is pay close attention to some of the things we're pointing out here so that, it doesn't happen to you again, or you can share this with somebody in your household or in your family to help them avoid being taken advantage of, before it happens. Right. So that's what I would say.
Yeah. And that's actually a perfect segue into the next question I had for you, which is who do these scammers target? and how. Obviously the how is answered in part by what the scam is, but who are some of the targets of these scams?
Sure. So there's passive attacks, which kind of go out towards everybody, that are massive blasts. These are going to be more of your traditional phishing, what we call phishing attempts. Then there are going to be some targeted versions of these called spear phishing attempts. That's what we call them. And spear phishing is, there's regular phishing. You're throwing a line out. You're seeing if anything bites on it. Spear phishing, you're trying to hunt, right? You're trying to find the target and spear it, figuratively speaking. So spear phishing, they're going to go after a big popular target in a company is going to be the assistant to the chief executive officer or any of the C-level officers. If they have assistants, they're going to go after the assistant because the assistant probably has all the passwords for the person that they work for, all the phone numbers, access to their bank accounts, access to all kinds of sensitive information within that organization. They're also going to target the accounting people in accounting because they have the ability to move money around and wire money to them. So they're going to go after those folks. You're going to see more spear phishing at those levels, and then you're going to see more just broad casual phishing across the organization as a whole. One of the things they want to do is maybe get you to download a virus that creates a ransomware event in your network, right? And then they can ransom you. So they can ransom you. They can ask for you to do a wire transfer. They can get into your system and then try to impersonate you to your customers, and then get your customers to send payments to them instead of to you. That happens. There's just a whole, host of different ways that they're going to try to get it into your system and trick you into sending them money or giving them access. And so who are they targeting? Everybody.
That's good to know too. We're not, no matter who you are, you're not above it. And actually, a lot of the newsworthy scams that we've seen have targeted. Sometimes you're surprised. I know I have been at times where you're like, wow, this is a big executive with a company that probably has a lot of people looking out for them and their security, and yet this still happened. So that actually kind of leads us into another question. If this is happening if it's so prevalent, it targets everyone. How do you protect yourself? How do you protect your business? What are some steps that people and businesses can take?
Yeah, the first and most important thing is going to be awareness. You have to know that this stuff exists. You have to have an idea of what it looks like, and you need to be cautious, right? You should be skeptical. When you get an email coming from your boss that tells you that he wants to give or she wants to give, gift cards to everybody at the office, so go out and get $1,000 worth of Google Play gift cards, you should not trust that email. First off, anything dealing with gift cards is a scam. You need to know this. Anybody telling you to get gift cards for any reason, that unless they're standing in front of you in person and you know them, just your default reaction to that should be, this is a scam. This person's trying to rip me off. And I can't drive this home hard enough to everybody. If it's at your business or at your home or in your personal life, and you're getting these emails from your private email or your business email, or you're getting phone calls and they're saying at any point in that conversation, you have to go get a gift card, you're being set up and you're being taken advantage of. You will never pay a legitimate business with gift cards ever. It just does not happen. When you see an email that is asking for you to do something like provide credentials, click on this link because your account has expired, don't click on those links. If Microsoft is sending you an email that says, hey, your account credentials have expired, go to your browser, go to Microsoft.com, go directly to the service and log in there. Don't use the email link to do it. Don't ever do that. And because even if you think it's real, okay, if anybody's telling you that that you work for or work with, I need you to do this thing, pick up the phone and call them. And if they put their contact information in that email, don't use that contact information. Pick up the phone and call them based on your corporate information for that person. There's a thing called phone spoofing. I want people to know this. I can make my phone number look like your phone number. It's not hard at all. It's very easy to do. You can do it for free. So I can make my number look like any number on earth that I want it to look like. I can make it look like I'm calling from 911 or the White House. Okay. It's not hard. And these scammers know how to do it. So even if you get a call, okay, that looks like it's coming from corporate or whatever, say, okay, what's your name? Yada, yada, yada. When you're done with the information, hang up, call back out to the corporate number and verify that the request you got was real. So that's the first thing, right? Awareness, know what these attacks look like, be more suspicious and more cautious. Okay. So the second thing is there are technical steps that can be implemented, right, to help cut down on the ability of these scammers to be successful, usually sometimes before they attack, but usually post attack. But I want to make it clear that these are not nearly as powerful as that first one, which is awareness and training. Okay. So you can implement multi-factor authentication. That's huge. We've talked about it many times before. Turn it on everywhere. Because this means that if they do get credentials, they need that second factor to get further into the environment, and that stops them, right? Obviously, having good spam, anti-spam settings turned on your email servers. I'm going to use some acronyms here that's not going to make a whole lot of sense to everybody, but talk to your IT people about SPF, DMARC, DKIM. Okay. Those are things that you can turn on a technical level. Do you use Microsoft 365? Do you have their Microsoft 365 Defender service for your email? If you don't, you might need to upgrade your license and get that. There's a lot of things tools that you can implement that help. Do you have antivirus? Do you have endpoint detection response, EDR or MDR, managed detection response? Do you have that in your environment? Again, these things help. But the first thing you need to do is create awareness and training, because your people are the weakest link in this chain by far. And you should have a technologist or a technology provider you're working with that can provide that training. There's a couple of services I want to point out. We use WebRoot. Okay, WebRoot has a phishing simulation that they can perform where we phish our customers. We send emails to them to see who clicks on it and who falls for the attack. And we don't do any naming and shaming. We just collect that data, and then we're able to issue out some additional training to those people privately and say, oh, hey, just so you know, this is what happened. Here's how you could prevent that in the future. Here's some additional training to get you, safer, right? So we do that. We do that through WebRoot. There's another, I think KnowBe4 is another very popular service out there. Even Microsoft 365 does have some phishing simulation capability built in too, if you have your own internal IT staff and you want them to build that out and use that. So that's what we use. Get with somebody who can help train you and can simulate these attacks in advance and prepare you to defend yourself against them.
Got it. So some very practical steps there, which is, again, we say this in a lot of our videos, but we want to give people something they can use. So awareness, obviously, and then training, which that's awesome.
So something else that I would recommend, there's a YouTube channel, Jim Browning, Tech Support Scams is what the logo says. Go to his channel, watch his videos. He does a fantastic job of actually catching scammers and preventing those scams. But you'll get a great idea from his videos of what some of these scams look like. So I want to give a shout out to Jim Browning as well. It's fantastic. He's not the only one. There's a lot of other folks, but I'd suggest start with him and check out his videos. They're very informative, and you can see what a scam looks like.
All right, Travis, a lot of awesome info. Thank you for that. Practical steps that individuals and businesses can take. Let's do what we always do, and let's wrap it up. 30 seconds or less. How can we beat scammers? How can we protect ourselves?
So educate yourself as much as possible, or your employees as much as possible. Get training for them. Set up some simulations so that you can see who needs more training and you can test out how it's working. Okay. Implement the different technology that will help you cut down on this. But most of all, make sure after these things that you're working with a partner that helps you implement it correctly so that you can be successful. And please don't ever pay anything with gift cards. Just please don't ever do that.